All right, what is up, everybody? My name is Adam. Welcome to the Sizzlin NFL DFS Podcast. Again, my name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. Joined by co-host is the FF Toilet Ninja. That's going to be such a fun name that I'm going to have fun with this season.
Thank you, sir.
AKA Charlie, what's happening, my dude?
Hey, man, just hanging out Friday night and getting ready to make money.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend. Normally about week one, usually super excited for high-hitting games, high totals. We have one game that's over 50. One. Like, can you at least give me a little bit of the, I don't know. Can I get that Giants game on this slate? I'd feel better about that on this slate than I do some of these games.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, too. The Monday night, man, I love
it's going to be a fun
Monday
slate.
night, and dude, I don't even know, because I think when I saw the over-under, it's what, 46, I think, or it was
Let me
the
find
other day.
out.
I don't think I checked it this morning.
I've got.
And who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen with that? Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. So the Cowboys-Giants game is the Sunday Night Football game. I'll have plenty of exposure to that. Bills-Jets on Monday Night Football. 45 and a half. So
35?
Yeah, 45 and a half.
45. Okay, so it went down. It's gone down a point since I checked it the other day. And honestly, man, I could see that line move a little bit more down. Right now, though, I would definitely the under. This game's going to be really cool for a whole lot of reasons and a whole lot of storylines. But typically, you don't score a lot of points against a defense like the Jets. But on the other hand, you've got a Buffalo offense that could score at will if they're really cooking. And then Aaron Rodgers, you just never know. He's a wild card.
I don't know what to make of Rodgers this year. I hope he has somewhat of a resurgence in his career, but, I'm a Patriots fan, and I would love to see us tank for Marvin Harrison Jr. I know you're a Colts fan. I'm sorry you don't want to hear that, but I digress. Here's how we're going to do it for week number one. Charlie and I are still going over some formats, but we're going to try this one out this week. So I'm going to be screen sharing here on DraftKings. We're going to focus on DraftKings this week. We're going to go each over a game that we want to target this week. We're going to go over a game that we want to fade, and then a game that I think we kind of really both agree on and we both really, really like as a sneaky GPP play for this week. Ergo, if you're entering the Millie Makers, if you're entering the large field $3 or $1, something to get your lineups different. And I think that we both have a quarterback in that game that's going to make everything super sneaky. We'll get to that later. We're going to end the podcast with a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end that we all really like this week. Like, there's going to be, I'll just say it right now, Chris Olave is going to be one of my highest exposed players on this entire slate. And we're not talking about that game here, considering it. But the game is, it's Tennessee at New Orleans. There's no offense from Tennessee. Sorry. But that's besides the point.
But Olave is going to feast. He's going to feast.
Agreed. All right, well, let's get into this. Let's have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So what you're going to see is DraftKings here this week. And DraftKings is going to show, let's see, make sure I have the right screen. Not showing a different screen here. So here we go. So I'm switching us over. We're going to be talking here about DraftKings. So let's switch this format over. There we go. I like us on the right-hand side. So I've tried blowing this up to make lives easier for all of you on screen. So my first attempt here at StreamYard. This is OBS Studio. I've already got my setup and everything ready to go. But hopefully you all can see us. Let us know whatever chat you're watching this from if you all can see this okay. We're going to get into the first game. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way with. It's the highest over-under on the slate, sitting at a 51 total right now. According to what Vegas is saying, I'm using VegasInsider.com. And this should be no surprise, Charlie. This is Miami at the Chargers. Again, 51 total. It is the only game that's over 50 this week. And it's at a 51, and I feel like that line's actually moved downwards, which is really, really interesting. Where did this start at? I'm going to try looking for that. It opened at 50.5, and now we're at, opened at 49, so we're continuing to move upwards. So this is the game we want to target. It's going to have some of the greatest fantasy goodness to take some lines from some of my absolute favorite podcasts I've listened to over the years. So, Charlie, talk to us here. We have Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be an exciting game. This is going to be a barn burner for sure. We're going to have a shootout. This one's going to be great. I'm telling you what, I am very, very excited. The San Diego Chargers, the Chargers have a brand new OC there.
Kellen Moore, let's go!
Hey, we know this guy likes to spread it around. He likes to spread it around a lot. And when he spreads it around, he likes to utilize those pass-catching running backs. Eckler. Yep. Now, a lot of people are going to have Eckler. He's, probably a top 3 running back, hopefully again this year. Maybe the last year for him. He's getting up there in age. But I feel like this is a guy that, as long as you can make it work, and I've made it work in multiple lineups, paying for him is going to be a must. He's going to put up some points. I've got another running back that I think may top him in points, but he's going to get a lot of catches. He's going to see a lot of action. And I also like in this game, and I put this in the notes, and I'm calling this season Allen's last ride. And it is going to be Allen's last ride. And I hope that he gets through the whole season.
Uninjured.
See if he does. But I'm going to tell you what, every game before he possibly takes a little break from playing for whatever reason, probably an ankle or a knee or something, use him. He's underrated. Yep. Everybody looks at the age. They think he's old. He's still got some juice. He's cost effective. He's going to put up some points, and this is going to be a great game to use him in.
Yeah, I mean, you just talk about it, right? Kellen Moore coming in as the offensive coordinator from Dallas to the Chargers. Kellen Moore was not without a job for more than a couple days until the Chargers are like, Dallas, you're stupid. We're bringing him in. Thanks for letting him go. Our offense is about to change. Good for Dallas and whatever they want to do. They want to go play 1980 football and run the ball. But by all means, they can do whatever they want. There's a reason I'm off CeeDee Lamb this year and season long. We'll talk more about Dallas at another time. Kellen Moore is going to bring this offense to another level. That is going to give Justin Herbert and this is what concerns me about Eckler, because I was listening to, I forget what podcast it was, with Kellen Moore in, it'll be more shots to Keenan and the tight ends and down the field. We're not going to get a lot of those dump-offs to Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, which is going to be, these little short receptions that Austin Eckler can do whatever he wants with. But Eckler is still, if you mean to tell me of all the high-priced running backs, not named Nick Chubb, and we'll get to him. Austin Eckler is my favorite higher-end running back to target. I want no part of CMC. We'll talk about Bijan in a bit, but Austin Eckler against the Miami Dolphins defense, sign me up all day, every day. And let me just take a look, because the Dolphins last year, oddly enough, were the third best against opposing running backs last year against the run.
Not a bad defense.
But one of the worst against receiving running backs. So they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7th worst against opposing receiving running backs. And they're tied for the most receiving touchdowns against opposing running backs in the league. FYI, I use Pro Football Reference for a lot of these stats. So 700 receiving yards given up to opposing running backs last year. Sign me up for Austin Eckler this year. Now, on the other side, or on this game, on the other side, we have a running back we want to talk about. Let's just get this out of the way. Jeff Wilson, unfortunately, was put on IR due to an injury. Jeff Wilson was becoming a target for me in season long.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jeff Wilson on IR, he's going to miss at least the first 4 weeks. That's going to leave a couple things. So everyone's excited about the new hotness in Devon A-Chain. I'm excited about A-Chain. The dude's super speedy. But Savon Ahmed is active. No injury tag. But give me Raheem Mostert at 5,400. We're going to talk about a lot of pricing mismatches. DraftKings came up with their pricing end of July, beginning of August. So none of the preseason's been accounted for this Sunday, for the Sunday slate. It's priced up of whatever it was at. They did their best. We're going to take advantage of the pricing. So feel free to leave salary on the table if you want. I wouldn't do it. Just pay up for some other better spots. But if you were to tell me, hey, Adam, I got $1,000 left at the table and I left my lineup, I'd say go for it. So talk to us about the Miami running game, because the Chargers were the second worst last year against the run.
Yeah, they were bad. And in particular, the Chargers are bad at running up the middle. Hey, they've got two really good edge rushers, but they got nothing in the middle of that line. Mostert, although very injury prone, when he is on the field, is one of the better running backs in the NFL. If you look at his stats, his yards per carry, everything is up there with what you want to see from a running back that you're going to put in your lineup. And they are just begging to be ran up the middle. It's his wheelhouse. They're going to stick with it. And look, there's a shiny new toy in A-Chain. But you know what? I'm going to look at last night. We saw that shiny new toy in Gibbs. How did that help everybody who put Gibbs in their lineup? Didn't get much. I had Montgomery in mind. And here's the thing. You're still a rookie kid. You still got to earn your spot. He's got a banged up shoulder. And, Mostert, only serviceable back in that lineup right now. They're going to feed him the rock. He's going to run it up the middle. Even if he gets banged up, if he gets 3/4 out of it, if you're using him so you can get some high dollar guys in your lineup, it's a great plan for this weekend.
Yeah. And Mostert is going to be able to free up a lot of salary too. Like, look, I want to play Justin Jefferson. We're going to get to, the next game we're going to talk about is Cincy at Cleveland. We're going to want to take shots on Chase, on Cooper, on Higgins. We're going to talk about a lot of the higher priced options. Chubb, Burrow's going to be up there too. Like, we're going to get into higher priced options. We're going to need salary savings. Week 1 it's soft pricing. Again, this pricing came out end of July, beginning of August. It's soft pricing. A-Chain's 49, Mostert at 54, Wilson at 53. You think back to it, Charlie, when we were back at the end of July, right? Beginning of August. Wilson was still on the field. I thought Wilson would have been the starter over Mostert. Looked better last year. And then the injury happened to Wilson, let his body heal up. A very weird quote from the coach, but something about we'll let his body tell us when he's ready to come back. Okay, coach. But 5,400 this week for a running back.
Oh, it's a stellar price.
It's a fantastic price. And again, if you don't want to play Austin Eckler, why not take a shot at $5,400 in a running back, again, against the defense last year, in the Chargers, that allowed the second most rushing yards against opposing running backs last year.
And didn't make any changes.
I mean, nothing drastic. Again, the biggest change that the Chargers did is they got Kellen Moore, because they have to go against Kansas City and the Broncos. Sorry to the Raiders. No. But
defensively, though, no changes in the middle.
No, I mean, Mostert's going to have a field day. If the offensive line can open up a hole for him, he's going to have a field day. We're going to talk about one of my other favorite running backs that I am going to flag plan on this entire year. I have flag planted on this entire year. My RB24 in season long, I believe, was where I don't know, somewhere around there. We're going to talk about Brian Robinson Jr. later and how much you and I are really on him this week. We're going to talk about that later, but let's talk about some of the wide receivers here, and then we'll get into the tight ends. I mean, quarterback-wise, play Herbert, play Tua. I mean, don't fade either. If you're playing a 20 max, if you want to flag plan on one or both, again, get exposure to this game. Wide receivers, play Hill, play Allen, play Waddle, play Mike Williams. Jefferson. Play all 4 of them. Put them all in your pool.
I think Allen will be a great pick. Now, what is he at on price-wise? I'm not sure what he's at yet right now.
Keenan Allen is 7,300 this week on DraftKings. That's a little pricey.
It is a little pricey for him. I mean, it's only 1,500 under what Justin Jefferson is, and it's going to be on top of a whole lot of other guys. I think, though, if I'm looking at the prices, if I look at Hill, if I look at Allen, I look at Waddle, I look at Williams. I don't have faith in Williams. He's only going to get you points if he gets some of the long balls. We'll see how that, if that goes down or not. But I think Allen Hill's a little too expensive. Allen or Waddle in this game, I think, would be a good choice. As far as price-wise, you'll have to, take a little off somewhere else, maybe at tight end or even defense. which is easy to do, especially this week. Easy to do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We know we're going to add all, the main 2 wide receivers from both of these teams. You're going to add them in your player pools. The question's going to come down to Quentin Johnston or Josh Palmer. I thought I read or saw somewhere or heard that Josh Palmer is technically going to be the wide receiver 3 to start the season. At 4K, if he's going to be the wide receiver 3 and is going to be out there and play more snaps than Johnston, at 4K, that might be a way you make your stacks different. If you're trying to get a Tyreek Hill and a Tua and whoever, like, you want to tell me you want to play Mike Williams and Josh Palmer on the other side? If you want to go a 4-2 in this game, that's fine with me.
Yeah, personally, I'm going to stay away from Palmer. He had his opportunity. I was big on him last year. He had plenty of opportunity, and he never really did anything with it. Now, Kellen Moore could change that dramatically. He really could. But there's other guys around that price range from some other games that I would probably throw into my lineup. As far as receivers in this game, Waddle, good. Allen, really, really good. Hill, if you can afford him. I think if you use Hill, you're going to lose out somewhere else, though.
Well, again, Justin Jefferson is one of the best players on the entire weekend because he's Justin freaking Jefferson. We're going to want to take shots on Jamar Chase. We're going to get into that game here in a few minutes. Tyreek Hill against the Chargers, he could crush, so he's going to be a contrarian GPP option. But he doesn't super excite me this week. He just doesn't. I'd rather take the pepper and targets from Waddle, save $1,100, and go pay somewhere else. I might take the shot on Josh Palmer in a 20 max. If you're playing 150, you make sure you have exposure to Palmer and Johnston. Maybe cap it at like 10 to 15%. But make sure, especially if you're playing anything over a 20 max, get a little bit of exposure to these guys. It's week 1. People will say this all the time. I was listening to the Roto Grinders Morning Grind podcast. And even, Stephen Young was saying, Stevie was saying, like, we're going to get stuff wrong week 1 because teams are going to go out and do whatever. Yeah, we are. Like, this is football. It's variance. It's week 1. Take your shots and your conviction plays. I can tell you last night, my conviction plays were Captain Kadarius Toney, and I played a lot of Sky Moore. Those are my conviction plays, and apparently Toney just he couldn't catch a sink, apparently. But again, like, there was a TikTok that came out today, it was CBS Sports, that Mahomes said something to the effect of, he's coming off injury. He missed all of training camp. He has to get reacclimated. And I think sometimes we are like, it's preseason, we don't care. The reps for the players matter. And when you have someone with like Toney, who has the widest range of outcomes this year of any player in fantasy football, in my opinion, that was a flag plan I was going to stand on. And he was at like sub 2% in the captain spot projected. If he gets 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards, I win everything. That was a flag plan I was going to do. So week 1, flag plan on plays that you really believe in based on the stats and the research that you have done. Do not be afraid to take those shots this week. There is plenty of money out there and plenty of value. Should we get into the tight ends? Because I really don't care about any of the tight ends here.
I'll tell you, man, that right now, no, well, I'll tell you this, though. From last night's game and moving forward, Sam Laporta.
Yeah, he's going to be interesting.
Win somebody some money. He's going to win somebody some money until the price starts going up. He's going to be a good one to keep an eye on in the next couple of weeks. In my season long, I've got that kid sitting on my bench on probably 8 out of 16 teams. He's going to be good, and he showed it last night. I know that if you look at it, what did he come up with? 8.9 points if you're playing full point PPR. I want to say he had. What did he have? 49 yards or something like that on 5 catches, 39 yards on 5 catches. So that's pretty good to start off, man, when you're, playing in a game like that. on a Thursday night, opening the season under the big lights, and you're a rookie. He didn't look phased at all. He did his job.
He got open.
Absolutely.
Open. That
even some of the contested stuff. I mean, he looked the part. He's going to be exciting.
Yes, he is. All right.
Kansas City, there's only one tight end. Don't use it. If Kelsey sits out, we learned this last night, so we probably already knew this.
That offense is terrible.
Nobody's stepping in at tight end and becoming the wide receiver one for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Kelsey or no one. Right. I was heavy on Moore. That didn't pan out for me, though.
I will say, as much as last night sucked on Tony and, more for me, I'll take my victory lap on Blake Bell. I said, watch Blake Bell be one of the opening ones in I said watch Blake Bell get one catch, 2 targets, 1 catch, and a touchdown. I'll take my victory lap on Blake Bell. I did not have enough Blake Bell.
See, last night I had the sun god in my captain spot.
Yeah, I had
for last night's game. I was very excited on that first touchdown too. Matter of fact, if I had flipped, now I doubled my money last night on that game, but if I had flipped Mahomes and Amon and put Mahomes in my captain, I think I would have ended up in top 10.
Yeah.
Last night on the one game that I played. So I made a mistake there, but my little guy who you might have saw just run in. It's his favorite player, Amon, and the guy is a target monster.
ARSB showed once again last night why he is going to be Goff's one of his favorite targets this year. And this offense is going to look different when Jameson Williams comes back. But you're not here to have us recap Thursday Night Football. Yeah. I'm interested in Gerald Everett this week, and I have no interest in the Miami tight ends.
Man, Jared, I have no interest in Everett either. Matter of fact, when I'm looking over the slate for this weekend, if I can fit him in there, Goddard's the only tight end that I want anything to do with if I'm going to put any money into that position at all.
Yeah.
And the defense that they're going up against, they're going to take that defense likes to take away certain guys. Somebody's going to be left to pick up all the scraps, and I think it's going to be Goddard. He's going to be a really good TE play.
Yep. So we'll talk about him against New England if you want to talk about that later on. But let's get into it. Next game that we want to target is the game that Charlie wants to target this week. Talk to us about Cincinnati at Cleveland. I will tell you that the current Vegas total, as I refresh my page to make sure we're giving you all the correct information, is sitting at 47.5.
Oh, it's gonna go over that. This is gonna be a good one. Hey, if I'm putting some money on the over/under on that, I'm taking the over. I think that we're gonna see fireworks in this. We've talked a little bit. I'm really high on this game. There's a couple of reasons. First off, Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now in the game. I think there's an argument to be putting him at number one over Mahomes. That's a conversation for another day. But for whatever reason, he is not always that successful against the Browns. And I think that that's going to change. Bum calf and everything, that's going to change. And more so, though, on the other side of the ball, Nick Chubb, that is my arb. I'm planting my flag on Nick Chubb this week. This guy is stellar. This guy, he's got the moves. He knows how to do it. He's got no one else behind him. He's going to be the bell cow, the workhorse, and then some. This guy's going to get the rock for half the game. And as we always say in fantasy, opportunity is king, and he's got the opportunity. They're going to do something. Like I said, Burrow, for whatever reason, doesn't throw his best games against the Browns. It's been that way. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's
divisional game,
they get in there, that brown, that orange, I don't know, makes them nauseous or something maybe with that brown in there. Who knows, But whatever it is, I think they're going to lean on Chubb. You've got a guy that we're looking at who could be the number one RB in the NFL when it's all said and done this season. He's got loads of opportunity, loads of skill. He's going to, if he catches 7 passes, and it's very, very possible. If you're in a lineup that's PPR, you're going to bank on that. Pay up for Chubb. I've got ways to get him in your lineup to where you can save in other areas, but Chubb is going to be good. I know that, Cincinnati's defense can be a little nasty, but really to me, for a running back like Chubb, they're middle of the pack. I think that's going to be a good one. You've got, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase on any given day can put up more points than any other wide receiver in the league. He's expensive, but he's a good one. If you're going to pay up for one of the top receivers, I think this week you want it to be either Chase or Jefferson. Defense is a little bit better, but remember, Cleveland missing some key people on defense. That defense isn't going to be quite as stout as it has been in the past.
Cleveland just got Denzel Ward back today.
Did they?
He cleared concussion protocol and will be active for this game.
Okay.
Now, Denzel Ward, we thought was going to be a really solid cornerback coming out. And he's been solid, but he's not an elite corner. He's a solid corner. And unless you're an elite cornerback in this league, you're not stopping Chase.
No, you're not. He's gonna. And the beautiful thing about Chase is he's got a true wide receiver one on the opposite side of the field. You take T. Higgins and you take him off of the Bengals and you put him on any other team, and he is their number one wide receiver. So you can't just double team either one of those guys. It makes it difficult for defenses, and Chase knows how to take advantage of that. Joe Burrow knows how to take advantage of that, and that's what gets you fantasy points.
You get that right. All right, so just to recap here, you and I both really like Nick Chubb. $8,200 is an expensive ask, but again, we talked about this. If you're not paying up for Eckler, Nick Chubb is a great pay up. He's a fantastic pay up this week. Now, I will say this. Again, I did my best this week, Charlie, to not listen to any other fantasy information, but now I become kind of biased. I was really surprised when I listened to the Morning Grind podcast from Roto Grinders about how apparently good the Bengals defense was against the run. Really? I'm like, they didn't seem that good against the run.
They really didn't.
The Bengals actually last year gave up the fourth fewest rushing yards versus opposing running backs last year. That's it. Now, the Browns, on the other hand, gave up the fifth most rushing yards versus opposing running backs. Joe Mixon is $6,800. There was a chance this is the cheapest we get him all season.
Yeah, that is absolutely possible. But, see, the thing with Mixon is he's one of those guys where when he's on, and when he's not, and you kind of got to see what you're going to get with him. So there's a little bit of a risk involved with him. And I have had him in my lineups since he started for the Cincinnati Bengals. Every year, last year, I probably had 3 names that incorporated Mixon in the name of my team. Now, I've been a believer on this guy, but what I've learned is you don't know exactly what you're going to get with him on any given Sunday.
Well, that's the thing.
Hopefully it's a good one. And I think that this Sunday is going to kind of tell us, this Sunday and next Sunday is going to kind of tell us what kind of season we're going to get out of Joe Mixon. But I mean, if you want to throw him in at that price, I think that that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So Mixon's one of my favorite running back plays in this game on the slate. I would prefer Mixon to Chubb. I think Chubb maybe has a higher ceiling, but he's a riskier play in my opinion than Mixon. Again, the stats to me just stand out. But again, so I'm going to say this. You're going to hear me talk about over the next 4 weeks, 2022 defensive stats. I go with at least a 4-game sample size for the current year before I get rid of the prior year stats. If there's something that sticks out, I'll take it into consideration. But I'm not overreacting to like the first 2 games. Oh my goodness, Cleveland gave up 400 rushing yards. I don't care who'd they play. Oh, Mixon torched him for 200, and then Derrick Henry torched him for 200. Great. That's something to mention. But it's something to keep in mind. You want you want a good enough sample size that isn't too small and isn't too big. So I set my own, like once we get to week 5, I get rid of 2022 stats and I start using 2023. So Mixon for me, Love this. I prefer Burrow to Deshaun Watson in this game.
Absolutely.
If I'm playing a quarterback, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably not having any stacks from this game, and I'm going to have pieces.
No, I'm with you. I wouldn't have a stack on this game either, primarily because, if I want any one from this game, I do want Chubb, and anyone else that you're going to try to stack with him, you're just going to have to pay way too much for. It's going to just destroy the rest of your lineup. So, I think, Chubb, Chase, Mixon, Burrow, any of your top Bengals are probably a good play. You are not going to stack them with each other and have enough funds to really make a lineup that's gonna win.
Yeah, so let's just take a look at it, right. And also, if you see me, looking back and forth over here, I got a double monitor set up. So I've got what you guys are seeing here as DraftKings on my main monitor, and I've got StreamYard over here on my other ones. I can take a look at, Charlie, what we're talking about over here. So you'll see me looking back and forth a lot. But let's just take a look at it, right? Like, let's just say I want to go Burrow, Mixon, Chase, and run back. I don't know. Let's run back Cooper. That leaves me $4,400 a player and $22,200 left in salary. That's a tough stack to make work, right? Like, I mean, we're going to find value. Let's just go. Oh, where's Raheem Mostert? Okay, he's there. Where is Chris Godwin? We can get Chris Godwin in because Chris Olave. Chris Godwin's cheap, but even if you just do that, now you're at 34, 33 a player. Defense, let's just take the chalky Commanders defense this week. This scares me. If you're looking at an expensive stack, this stack needs to hit. The stack needs to go off. Because even if we got rid of Chris Olave, which I would not recommend against Tennessee, let's just talk about Mostert and put Olave in there. Tight end, okay, we'll punt with someone.
Musgrave.
Okay, we'll punt with Musgrave. That leaves you $4,600 for a flex.
It's hard to get somebody in there. I have an idea of someone you could throw in there that might pay off, but it won't be enough points to win big money. I mean, you could throw a Hunter Renfrow or a Josh Downs maybe in there.
Yeah.
But it's just, if any one of those four guys in that stack from that game don't hit, you're out.
Again, this is why I'm saying, I don't think this is a stack game for me personally. I'm not going to have either quarterback in my player pool. I enter a 20 max, so neither quarterback's going to make it. But I want pieces. I want Chubb in my player pool. I want Mixon in my player pool. I'm going to put Chase and Higgins in my player pool. Cooper in there. We haven't even talked about Elijah Moore, who's 3,800. We haven't talked about Peoples-Jones, who's 4,300. I can't trust either one of them this week. If I'm taking a shot on someone, give me the elite talent. Yeah, I said it. Jets, you royally screwed up. I don't know why you Brandon Ayuk'd him last year, but sorry, Cleveland and Watson are going to get an amazing talent. I've been an Elijah Moore truther. All you got to do is watch the damn film. Anyway,
I would take shots on him.
I would take shots on Elijah Moore at 3,800. My concern is he has no floor.
And he is not, because Peoples-Jones is going to be the number 2 wide receiver right now on that team, at least for the first few games. I think Moore is
until Elijah Moore takes him over.
Yeah, he's got the talent to creep up on him and take that spot. But as we saw, man, Peoples-Jones, he almost had better chemistry with Deshaun than Cooper did going towards the end of last season. And I think that they're going to lean on that a little bit just to get out of the gate. So in this case, I'm going to take one of those down receivers. I'm probably going to go Peoples-Jones, though I like Moore's price.
Yep. Also, I will say this, in Dynasty Leagues for season long, Cedric Tillman, if you can get him cheap.
Yes.
Trade for him cheap. You want Cedric Tillman on your rosters because the upside with this kid is high.
He's one injury away of having a permanent spot in that offense.
I like Peoples-Jones. I've been sneakily on and off of him the last couple of years as the number 2 in this offense. But now you have Elijah Moore, who will take over the number 2 spot. And Cedric Tillman can easily take over Peoples-Jones on the outside, because I think Elijah Moore is more of that slot wide receiver. And once he really starts getting up to speed, You can just imagine what he and Watson can do.
Oh yeah.
Just imagine some of the plays that they can draw up if you're Stefanski. Some of the plays that they can drop, like, okay, we'll have Chubb in the backfield, Cooper's on the outside, Peoples-Jones on one way, and then we have Njoku and Elijah Moore. Even just the standard X route, it's like you gotta convert. You're gonna have to make defenses start respecting how elite Elijah Moore is. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Elijah Moore for this entire podcast.
Not a bad spot. Not a bad choice for tight end. I think he's going to get utilized a lot more than people think.
4,200 this week.
That's not bad. So I went with who? So Goddard's 5,000. At 4,200, I might actually try to slip him in over somebody that I'm really confident is going to get us points, because that guy, he might only get 4 catches, but one of them is probably going to be a touchdown.
Yeah. I'd start giving out tight end stats, but I feel like tight end stats are noise.
It's such a frustrating position, especially right now.
Yeah.
For everyone but the Detroit Lions.
I mean, Laporta didn't look explosive, but he looked solid. But anyway, that's going to do it for the games that we want to target. There are other games out there, Tennessee, New Orleans. You could go Jacksonville at Indy, Tampa Bay at Minnesota. If you, for whatever reason, think Philly, New England is going to do something, just because maybe Tom Brady's in the building and it does something.
They're going to do something.
I think that game is a trap game. I am going to have 0 players. I will tell you this now. I will have 0 players from that game in my lineup. I have no interest in that game. Bill Belichick has had ample time to game plan out Philly. I think it'll be a lower scoring game than maybe what people are giving it credit for. Las Vegas at Denver. No, thank you. The Rams at Seattle is another interesting game if you want to target.
Green Bay at wide receivers from the Seahawks.
Yes. Like
Tyler Lockett. Lock it in. Lock in. Lock it.
Him and DK. Like there were so many games if you want to target them this week. But let's talk about some games we want to fade this week. And I'm going to start off with one of them. Game I'm fading this week. There's nothing super surprising about this pick, but it's Carolina at Atlanta. Rookie quarterback versus a quarterback in his second season. Just, I have no interest in this game. If you're interested in anybody, and first of all, the fact that Bryce Young is $5,500 on DraftKings and Ritter's $4,900 is why. What has Bryce Young done to deserve a $5,500 price tag? Also,
he hasn't done anything yet, but I mean,
if anyone's also listening to any of my
lower right now, as a QB, he's a QB. You know, he's got a. I mean, look, Ritter sitting at 4,900. You know, I mean, there's almost like there's a platform where the prices start for QBs.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if you got Ritter, which is got to be probably what's I don't know what Sam Howell is at right now for
4,900,
but I would think. So it's the same. I was going to say, it's probably him or Ritter are going to be your lowest 2 priced.
Baker Mayfield's also 4,900.
Oh, we're talking about quarterbacks, though.
Yep. Again, like, if anyone's listened to my analysis or just draft
Baker
season,
Mayfield's
anything else,
quarterback.
I am not a Bryce Young truther. I don't see what is so elite about the kid.
I don't either. I'm with you.
Did y'all watch the same film I did? Just go back and watch the highlights from Alabama or Tennessee. Hooker looked better.
Hey, he absolutely did. Absolutely did.
But like any of the film I watched on Young, it's like, like you just hear, he's this, he's proven. I'm like, what are you all seeing that I'm not? Because there's nothing electric about him on film that I watched. Maybe I didn't watch the right film. But when I watched CJ Stroud, I'm like, Stroud over Young. Yes, thank you.
I'll take Richardson over all of them. Personally.
Indy fan, Pats fan. We'll get there. We're going to get to Richardson. Calm down, Colts fan. Calm down, Colts boy.
You're going to see the promised land. But no, I agree, dude. I look at you. I don't see it. And I'm going to tell you what, that coach scares me. He can wreck a team. I've seen it happen.
Which one?
Over in Carolina, Frank Wright.
Oh,
Wright got the wrong stuff. I don't know what to tell you about that guy. But
I like Frank Wright. Arthur Smith, I don't think makes the end of the season.
I like, Wright's a good guy. He's a great guy. And he's a great OC, but he's not a great head coach. He's just, yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about it because...
He killed Matt Ryan. Come on.
Oh, jeez.
He didn't put him out of the NFL. Guy went to a Super Bowl. Can't get a job now.
Matt Ryan put himself out of the NFL.
Yeah, he had some help.
He got old. Anyway, this is a game I'm fading. I'm no interest in the quarterbacks. If you're playing anyone in this game, it's the running backs. But Bijan, I love Bijan. I love his talent. I think he's elite right out of the gate.
Not paying
He's
for him.
$8K.
Not paying for a rookie. Not paying for him.
No way.
You've still got Algier. They're probably going to split some carries in the first few games until Bijan really gets his footing in the NFL. And I could be wrong about it. The guy could come out and be a stud on Sunday. He could blow it up. But
I hope so.
That they're going to split carries. Look at Algier. Still, he passed 1,000 yards in his rookie year. You don't just sit that guy on the bench. Just say, oh, all right, cool. I get it. Bijan is King Henry 2.0 in this scheme for this coach. Yeah. But I still think that he's going to ease them in a little bit, and we'll go back to that 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, yeah, I'm going to be paying up for that kid if he's everything that they say that he is, but I'm not going to pay for it until I know.
Look at it. I played Jahmyr Gibbs at a lot of places last night, but I made sure I had a decent amount of Montgomery. Montgomery far and away outsnapped Gibbs. And Gibbs looked more explosive than Montgomery did.
He did, again, Montgomery's paid for and tried and true.
True. And again, 3 years and $18 million speaks volumes for a running back.
Absolutely.
But someone who I am on and is one of my highest owned players in season long, probably is my highest owned player in season long, probably next to Jalen Hurts, is Miles Sanders. He's 5,600 against the Atlanta we can't stop the run defense. Miles Sanders has no injury designation going into this week. He did have an injury designation. He was dealing with a groin injury. He's off the injury report as of Wednesday. As of Wednesday. I would be playing Miles Sanders with confidence.
Really? With confidence, huh? See, I'm not. The guy, he gets banged up a lot. Looking at that coach, the way that he likes to use running backs, he's, when he was using Miles Sanders, it wasn't a bell cow kind of thing. And that's, I just don't
have to take the pressure off Bryce Young, though. That's the thing.
Well,
this is the rookie starting in his first game.
He's got Hubbard, too. Hubbard's serviceable. He can spell it.
Serviceable. And you said the word. You said the word serviceable. Well, had he come out his junior year, there could be a completely different outlook on Chuba Hubbard. I like Chuba coming out of college. He's done nothing.
He's serviceable. He's all right.
That's it.
The ball downfield if you hand it to him 10 times. He'll get some steps for you. But I just don't trust Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is one of those guys that either gets 2 touchdowns and blows it up for you, or he doesn't do much of anything and he's out by the second half. And he's coming off of an injury already. Who's to say? The good thing is he was removed on Wednesday.
The good thing is he was removed on Wednesday as opposed to Friday.
Well, that is good. So this may be the longest stint of the season that he stays off of the injury report. It is Miles Sanders, so we'll see. Hey, look, I don't wish anybody to get injured, but the facts are the facts. The guy can't play 3 games in a row. He just doesn't do it. He gets banged up. It's not like you got Marshawn Lynch out there that can just plow through anything. A butterfly lands on this guy's knee and he blows it out. It's just it's rough. It's rough to trust a guy who gets injured and banged up as much as he does, especially in the opening game in a new offense when he's just coming off of an injury from the preseason.
I'm sorry. The butterfly thing was funny. I will tell you this: Miles Sanders in my season-long rankings, my final set of rankings was my RB12. That's how much I believe in the kid.
Wow!
And I think in this offense, again, I have certain flag plants, and Miles Sanders.
That's cool. That's
just
cool.
like
Hey, and you
Jalen
could
Hurts.
be right. You could be right. If he stays healthy, he amasses good production.
He's going to destroy in that offense.
I don't know if anybody's going to have good production in that offense this season. They're going to be a mess. The whole NFC South is going to be a mess.
Oh,
every team. And they're probably the only division that's worse than the AFC South.
Wow. Okay, and with that being said, let's get into so we've taken a lot of time on the running backs, but that's pretty much it.
Let me throw out real quick.
Play Drake
London.
Real
quick, my game that I'm fading. And I'm not touching anybody. 49ers Steelers. I'm not touching a single person in that game. Don't do it.
Yes!
Stay away from it. You ain't getting no points. You ain't making no money. Let the 49ers and the Steelers go out there and play like scrubs. That's what's going to look like. Nobody knows what we're going to get. I won't touch them until I know that Pickens can actually do something or that CMC is actually getting over the injury bug. If I was going to touch anybody at all just to save a little bit of money, I'll throw Ayuk in there because he's proven in the last half of the season last year that he might actually be the wide receiver one on that team.
He is, because Debo isn't as elite as people think he is, but I'm not going to get into the destroying Debo show, but he's been a fade of mine for 2 years in season
Absolutely.
1. Sorry, fade last year, fade this year. I'm happy he got his wide receiver 2 finish. I'm happy he got paid. I wish every player success. I don't wish any harm on anybody. I don't wish anyone to do bad. I hope Bryce Young proves me wrong. But as an analyst, you can't just you can want to root for everybody, but you also have to do what's in your gut, what's based on stats, what's based on everything else. I also want no part of this game. I want no part of this game.
No,
this
nothing.
Game worries me. It's in Pittsburgh, which is a tougher place to play, in my opinion, with that crowd, where they are. Purdy coming off the injury and trading Trey Lance.
Who knows? Well, that's probably a good thing for Purdy.
Trey Lance believer.
But you know what? Now Purdy doesn't have to worry about Trey Lance. And when you're the last guy taken in the draft, you probably got to worry about anybody else behind you on the team. So that's probably actually beneficial to Purdy to not have him sitting on the bench behind him. But still, I'm with you. I'm not touching a single person on this team if I can, on this game, if I can avoid it. Like I said, maybe to save a little money, you could get Ayuk in there. The guy is a very, very good route runner, and he can make plays, but it's not going to happen in this game.
No. All right. Should we get into as we're approaching 9 o'clock, and we're going to be trying to keep these to about an hour. Should we get into the game that I think you and I could have a ridiculous amount of
yes.
to do? Let's get into our sneaky GPP game of the week. This is a game that we are specifically calling out as a sneaky game, specifically for large field tournaments or GPPs, and that is Arizona at Washington. This game, the last time I checked, was sitting at a 39 total. Let's see if that has changed. This game is sitting at... Okay, I wouldn't say would split the entire thing.
Commanders are going to take the over on that.
This game's now at a 38. 38 and a half. So let's go with a 38. And I believe that line went down from yesterday. But see, here's the thing. Brian Robinson could have 2 of the touchdowns and over 100 rushing yards in this game.
Oh, my gosh. He's going to feast.
He's going to remember. And I'm going to preface this entire game by saying this. Arizona is not good this year. They have clearly made it a point that they have already given up on the season. They want Caleb Williams and they want Marvin Harrison. That is who they're targeting. That is the way every other expert out there is thinking what they're doing. You let go of the veteran of Colt McCoy, who is a solid backup, out of nowhere, signed Josh Dobbs, I think, off the couch.
Why?
Or wherever he came from, because they want Caleb Williams.
Traded for Dobbs.
Yeah, that to me says we're tanking for Caleb Williams. You got rid of Isaiah Simmons for reasons I don't quite understand. I hope he thrives with the Giants. I don't understand that move. I don't understand some of the things Arizona realizing
best wide receiver.
They're rebuilding. They understand that. But with that being said, Brian Robinson, people seem to forget this is a running back that this team drafted last year, was in love with last year. This team was in love with Brian Robinson. And then, unfortunately, was the attempted carjacking. Brian Robinson getting shot in the leg or the ass or wherever he got shot in. And that,
but an amazing comeback.
Yes, an amazing comeback. And that's what people seem to forget. This team was super enamored with Brian Robinson. Unfortunately, with the carjacking, unfortunately getting shot. We're all happy he was back there. He's gotten better. And the dude was shot. He had several
multiple shots in the leg. Weeks later, running
to get better
on the field.
Did you expect the kid to just blow up last year? No, he had to recover.
I didn't expect him to be back as soon as he did. How do you
I didn't either
that many times and go play professional football in a matter of a few weeks? That is nuts to me. That is absolutely nuts. The guy is like Superman, and he's going to look like it on Sunday.
Yes,
you better have him in your lineups. Matter of fact, I've got a good stack. For my million, I'll throw this out there real quick while we're on the game. I've got Brian Robinson Jr. I've got the Commanders defense, and I have got Jahan Dotson. Get yourself some Dotson. You've got a guy in Scary Terry who is he's got turf toe. I know he's not on the injury report, but he had turf toe. We've seen that 100 times. That's one of those injuries that can nag. You don't know what you're going to get, and I think that Scary Terry is going to be a decoy. Dotson's going to get all the catches. That defense is a sneaky defense. They are underrated, one of the most underrated defenses in the NFL. I'm not talking about just this Sunday. Across the board, really good defense. They are going to shut down a team that's not even going to try, and they are just going to do whatever they want. Dotson's going to carry you through the first half, probably a couple of great catches, couple of TDs, and then Robinson Jr., he's going to get you through the second half. All that garbage time, they're just going to give him the ball and let him play around on the field. Get them in there, both of them, and that defense is cheap, $2,800. It's a great way to fit somebody like Justin Jefferson in your lineup when you got
They're going to be the chalk
5,
defense of the week, by the way. The Commanders are the chalk defense of the week. And it's really not surprising. The projected ownership that I am looking at, I'm going to give it a refresh, but, this is already being talked about. There was really nothing surprising here. The Commanders' defense being as cheap they are, we're going to be playing defenses against Arizona all year long.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared for it to be chalk, but they're good chalk.
Oh, we're going to pick on the Cardinals.
Right. I mean, the Commanders' defense is not a bad defense, but the projected ownership that I'm looking at has them just over 25% projected owned.
That's a lot for a defense.
That's too much for a defense.
That's a lot for a defense. But if they're the high-end scorer, if that's a defense that they just, you end up with 3 takeaways, and maybe one of those is a pick 6, I'm not sure if there's going to be a defense on the board that's going to get you more points for your money. So even if it's chalk, it may be the play.
Correct. So let's talk about it again. Brian Robinson is 5,100. Arizona this year has gotten rid of a lot of players. I don't think their run defense is all that good. Brian Robinson is
worst.
Yeah, this is a defense that Brian Robinson should shred. This is the Brian Robinson year. And I'm going to go back and let's double check my season long rankings because he's someone that was going way too late in ADP. He's my RB24 right behind Alexander Madison. I knew I'd get him everywhere because of the ADP. Brian Robinson is going to feast this year.
Absolutely. I have shares of him and Gibson all over the place, scattered through my teams. I'm going to lean on Robinson for DFS a lot when he's got a good matchup. I'm also going to lean on Gibson a lot. Not in this game, though. They're not going to need a lot of pass catching from their running backs in this game because they're going to handle them. So Robinson definitely the play, even though they're really close in price. But, yeah, underrated, two really good running backs. They're going to get you guys some points. Expect to see them used a lot this season.
Yep. So I'm happy Brian Robinson came back as fast as he did. I'm happy he's healthy. This is a kid that is going to be the primary back. He has the tools to be a bell cow. Gibson can be used in whatever package plays he wants, but at 5,100, Robinson's going to feast. Now, James Conner is going to be pretty much the entire offense for Arizona this year. If you want to run stuff back with James Conner, go ahead. But the Washington front seven, they're so good.
And Connor at 6,400. There's more bang for your buck out there. There's more bang for your buck.
Mostert's cheaper.
Absolutely.
I'm with you on Dotson at 5K. Can we get into one of the best quarterback sneaky plays of the week that hopefully doesn't make people want to throw up when they hear it? But Sam Howell is 4,900 and is going to be in my player pool, is going to have someone I'm going to have exposure to. This game is not just going to be the Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson show. They're going to have to throw. You have to throw the ball. Sam Howell is actually a late-round target if you're in a super flex league. I actually really like this year.
He's a good pick, especially for this week. Everything coming out of the training camp and all preseason was positive. He's got a good rapport with these wide receivers. He's got a really good rapport, with Dotson, the running backs, and Dotson especially. And that right there is why I've got Dotson all over the place in all kind of lineups for this weekend. He's cheap.
He's 5K.
Everything is a green light for him from what we've heard coming out of that camp in the whole preseason, the whole offseason. So go. And it's good. It's a good little combo to have right now. You might not get to use Howell in a whole lot of games, but this is a good one to use him in.
Yep, and 4,900. Let's use them. Don't go crazy with them. Again, I'd be focusing on what's going to be an obvious pairing between Brian Robinson and the Commanders defense. That's going to be a very popular stack. But I can tell you, I was messing around with a lineup the other day when Charlie and I were just talking the other day, and I'm like, Howell. Let's just watch this for a second. Howell, Robinson. You could go McLaurin or Dotson. Commanders defense. And if you wanted to run it back with someone from Arizona, you don't have to. Pick a wide receiver. Look how much money I have left over. That's with McLaurin and Dotson. That's with McLaurin in. And then this is what it is with Dotson in. You have so much money.
That will get you a top RB and a top wide receiver in that lineup.
Yeah. That gets you Eckler. That gets you Chubb. That gets you Jefferson. That gets you Chase. That gets you Tyreek Hill. That gets you whoever else it is that you want. Right? Like, this is a cheap stack that has one of the highest upsides on the slate. You don't feel good about it, but it has upside this week because it's Arizona.
Absolutely.
All right. With that being said, we are at 9:00. Let's get into it. One quarterback, two running back, two wide receivers, a tight end, and a defense that's not the Commanders. What's our quarterback that you like this week, or someone you're targeting? It could be someone sneaky. Give us a quarterback.
I like AR. I like Anthony Richardson. He's 5,600. We've got no running backs in Indianapolis. They're going to let this guy. Indianapolis doesn't care about winning. I don't think.
What a shocker that the Colts fan is picking Anthony Richardson this week. What a shocker.
Hey, it makes sense though, because he's going to be the running back in this game for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to get lots of yards with those legs, and he might even complete some passes. So that'll just be a bonus.
Yeah,
so I like him at his price. I like him.
5,600. He is the offense. I can tell you, it's also someone that's going to be in my player pool. I will have no one else on India in my player pool. You can play Anthony Richardson naked this week. Naked means you just play the quarterback with no one else around him. Yep. We did this with Lamar Jackson. We still do it with Lamar Jackson. Absolutely. He's just one of those rushing quarterback upsides that acts like a running back in your quarterback slot.
Absolutely. And going up against a weak run defense, Lamar Jackson this year, but that is actually why I'm targeting the first of my two running backs, and that is J.K. Dobbins. Yep. Dobbins has got an opportunity.
Yes, he does. We'll get to the running backs here in a second. I talked about a fade for me this week. It's going to be Jalen Hurts. as a quarterback I'm staying off of this week against New England and Belichick, especially being at home. Tom Brady's going to be in attendance. Congrats. They're doing a special honoring for him. I'm happy to see him back in New England. I think the New England defense is great enough that they're going to give Philly a hard time. I think this is going to be a defensive back and forth game. I don't think there's a lot of offense scored in this. So Jalen Hurts is someone I'm not going to have in my player pool this week for me. So running back. And again, this does have to be players we want. Like I'm fading Hurts, but I have Hurts everywhere in season long. I'm not benching him.
No, definitely not.
But for DFS at 7,800, sorry, New England is not the matchup I'm paying up to target a quarterback against.
No,
let's get into running backs.
For the money.
Yep, let's get into running backs. You and I love this running back. Yeah, you and I love this running back this week. J.K. Dobbins, running back versus Houston. Yep, you lock him in. So Dobbins is your first one. My first one, I'm going right back to the well in Joe Mixon. I went over my thoughts on that earlier. What's your second running back this week?
I'm actually. We just talked about it a lot. You know, I love Chubb.
Yep, Nick Chubb.
Chubb's a good one. I think he's going to put up a lot of points. So if you can get Chubb in there, you can then use him.
Yep. I'm going to say this now. I'm going with Miles Sanders against the bad Atlanta we can't stop anybody defense, which is obviously a little bit out there. If you want a quarterback of mine you want to target instead of a fade, it's Sam Howell. Here's something interesting that we didn't talk about because we're really not playing any running backs against Philly for obvious reasons. The Philly run defense is that good. Oh, and by the way, they added Jalen Carter. Stevenson today is listed as questionable due to
illness.
Yeah, it was an undisclosed reason earlier is what happened. So it's an illness. If Stevenson can't go for whatever reason, just saying this now, if you're playing the afternoon slate and you want to get different, Zeke is 5,200.
He's also
I would not be playing Zeke.
He can score.
I'm not playing Zeke in a full day slate. But if Stevenson is inactive and you are playing the afternoon only slates, Zeke is a way you're going to get different in the afternoon only slates. No one's going to play him because it's against Philly. Zeke has looked really good in New England. I think, and I've called this, I think Zeke is going to be the LeGarrette Blount for this team when LeGarrette Blount had like 16, 17, 18 touchdowns.
Ooh, that's a good call.
I don't know why Belichick doesn't like Stevenson. I would be using Stevenson as a 3-down back, but you bring in Zeke. I got off Stevenson in season long. I traded him in Dynasty. Give me Ezekiel Elliott this week at 5,200. Afternoon only slate if Stevenson is ruled out. I'm just saying that now.
That coming home on the radio today, I think they did say that they said it was a stomach bug.
Yeah.
For Stevenson. So, I mean, we know these guys, if they want to play on that, they'll come out there and play. We've seen Zeke do that before. So, I feel like that guy, that he's going to be in. He's going to be in. I'm not touching any of those running backs. I'm not touching anybody from the Patriots.
No, I know. But again, so like our targets are Dobbins and Chubb for Charlie. And for me, it's going to be Mixon and Miles Sanders. Who do you got for wide receivers? Can I just start it off by saying I don't lock any player, but I might be locking Chris Olave this week at 6,500 against the Tennessee doesn't utilize a cornerback defense.
They got one of the worst secondaries that there is right now.
They are the worst secondary in the NFL.
Terrible. Olave is going to have a day. He really
Give me all the Chris Olave. Just he's 6,500. We're probably not getting him this cheap ever again. Just 6,500. You just pay for Chris Olave this week.
You absolutely have to. You really do. And you know what? I've managed to pair him with another really, really good wide receiver that I think you pretty much, if you're going to take any of the top wide receivers this week, you got to have, and that's Justin Jefferson.
Yep. It's against the Tampa Bay defense. Look, Tampa Bay they're a solid defense. That secondary still doesn't scare me, and Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL. That's a game that could be a very high scoring. The Morning Grind thinks it could be a shootout. I think it could be a shootout. I would much rather target like a Baker Mayfield or especially like a Kirk Cousins in this game over the Cincinnati Cleveland quarterbacks. If you're going to do a stack on one of these games, love Justin Jefferson this week. So we got Olave, we got,
Fade Madison out of that game, though.
Yes, you do not. We don't play running backs against the Tampa Bay defense. We don't play running backs against the Tennessee defense. Cross them off your list. X them out of your player pools. You don't do it. Season long is different. DFS, nope. Fade, leave them out. Goodbye. We're not doing it. So we got Olave. We got Jefferson. Not a lock for me, but I like DK Metcalf. Who's yours?
He's athletic. I got Cortland Sutton. And we talked about this a little bit. So Cortland Sutton, if you go back, you got a brand new coach over there in Sean Payton. And what do we know about Sean Payton? Sean Payton likes to utilize his wide receivers in a very specific way, i.e. Michael Thomas, who is the only receiver on the Denver Broncos that is anything similar to him and his skill set. It is Cortland Sutton. It is not Jerry Jeudy. It is not a bunch of guys that they've got, I think, on the IR at this point. And then who got Mims over there as well. That's Marvin Mims is the rookie over there.
I love Marvin Mims, man. I love him coming out of college.
Cortland Sutton is going to be the X. He's going to be the Y. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to be all over the place. If Sean Payton can get Russell Wilson to actually remember how to pass the ball, Cortland Sutton is going to blow up this game.
Yeah, and also the reason that Charlie's on, Sutton is cheap. He's cheap, and Jeudy might not play.
$5,200 on DraftKings for Sutton. You can put a lot of guys. You can pair a lot of guys with him at that price.
Give me DK Metcalf for a wide receiver I want to target this week against the Rams. They don't really have they don't have Jalen Ramsey in the secondary anymore, so they don't scare me to throw the ball against. They're in Seattle. Give me DK Metcalf at $7K this week in another game that is it's in my opinion the late game hammer this week. You load up on guys like Akers, Metcalf, Lockett. You could take shots on Jackson Smith-Njigba if you wanted to. But DK Metcalf, this could be the high ceiling game for Metcalf against the Rams defense. The Rams are another one that could be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes or the Drake May sweepstakes. You know, like they're a team that is like, this is the last year for this core. Stafford most likely is going to retire. Kupp is injured. Like, give me DK Metcalf here at home in Seattle.
I want to take the Rams and the Cardinals and put them in a round robin with a couple of XFL teams. And whichever one of those two NFL teams can figure out how to beat one of those, just give them the quarterback. Give them the number one pick. They're both that's terrible this year.
Wow. All right. You've alluded to it. I'm assuming your tight end target's going to be Dallas Goedert.
It's absolutely going to be Dallas Goedert. There's not a lot of tight ends in the league right now that you can really put your faith in. The one I would love to use already played this week. I look at the other guys. I look at the top guys. I look at pricing, and, you know, Goddard's sitting there at $5K. He's much more desirable at that price. I can do a lot more if I don't have to spend that extra $700 to $900 to get, you know, and really it wouldn't even be $700 because right now you probably don't want to pay up for Andrews in hardly any case that I can think of. And Kittle right now has got a big question mark. You're going to have to wait till probably Sunday morning just to find out if Kittle's going to be on the field or not. Dallas Goedert is a lock. You know, as a Patriots fan, that the Patriots defense, they have a tendency to cancel out certain guys. Those are usually the top guys. Lo and behold, they got two top wide receivers over there, you know, in Philly. Those are the guys that I expect that a defense like that to cancel out. Who's that leave to catch all the passes? Good old Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I don't play tight ends against the Patriots. It's a personal rule of mine. I don't care what the stats say. I don't play tight ends against the Patriots. I will say that to your point about Goedert, he's going to be one of the main pieces of that offense. Philly is going to win this game. They should win a 24 to 10. But again, I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. Goddard is a great play. The Patriots actually sneakily gave up 11 receiving touchdowns last year, tied for second most receiving touchdowns allowed to opposing tight ends last season. So really interesting for me. This one should be of no surprise to anybody. If you have the money, it's TJ Hawkinson. You pay up for TJ Hawkinson at $5,900. It's against Tampa. He's the second best receiving option in that game. Again, we don't play running backs, so I'm expecting a lot of passing here from Minnesota. We don't play running backs against Tampa. Give me Hawkinson against Tampa. If you want a sneaky one, and this is going to be purely because Baltimore is playing Houston, but also because Mark Andrews is questionable. If Andrews doesn't go, Isaiah Likely is 3,000 and will become one of my highest owned players in DFS this weekend. If Mark Andrews is ruled out, I will have a lot of Isaiah Likely. This kid is super talented and super athletic, so keep that in mind as well. My defense, again, if you can afford them, there's a reason they're the highest priced on the slate. I'll take the Ravens defense against Houston. I like CJ Stroud. I like what he can do. This is not the game you want to have. You're starting your first NFL game against this Ravens defense.
No, it's going to be a rough day for that kid. It really is. And the Ravens defense, they're not the defense that they once were. That is for sure. But they are still a stout defense. And when they're going up against a lower ranked team, anytime that they're going to go up against a team that's not in the top 15 of the league in offense, you've got a pretty good shot that that's going to be a shutdown game for that defense, because that's what they do. I know, but I like it, you got to pay up for them. I hate paying up for a defense because I feel like your money can be much well spent in other areas. Yeah. So if you don't want to go with Washington, which I think we both agree is probably the play,
I'm going to have tons of Washington. I'm going to have tons of Washington to begin with.
Typically a good defense going up
against the other team.
Very, very weak offense. Seattle's only 3,300 this year. You can
at home
for you and at home. And we all know the 12th man is going to come to play.
Yes, they are. So that is it. Charlie, great first show. Thank you for joining me. Looking forward to having maybe some other guest hosts on here. So we will be here every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Good luck on week one. If you are interested in, asking us any questions, you can reach out to us on social media. Sorry, it is not X, it is Twitter. It shall always be Twitter, regardless of whatever they say. You can find me on Twitter at WXFan21. You can follow Charlie on Twitter at FFToiletNinja. Again, I'm on Twitter at WXFan21, and Charlie is at FFToiletNinja. Feel free to ask us any questions that you all might have. Charlie, any last-minute thoughts before we get on out of here?
Hi, man. Just, good luck to everyone. And remember, only play the money you can afford to play.
Yes! Bankroll management is key. And with that being said, for Charlie, I'm Adam. Latest, peoples.